I will record the session again for those that are unable to make it. And yes, we had some people legitimately email to say that they either had something, important planned. So I will be recording the session. I think that's all I have for you. Oh, don't forget, bring your basketball, right? I won't have that many to share with you, and the facility is definitely because of COVID. Sorry, as I'm speaking, I'm letting folks in as well. Okay, all right, that's me. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Jocelyn. She'll also introduce herself. Jocelyn is here to deliver the time management workshop for us. Obviously thought it was very important this time of year to do something like this, as you're all about to head back to school in September. And as well, this different models of schooling, right? Whether it's going to be hybrid model, whether you're going in person, and just the whole virtual, piece as well. So Jocelyn, over to you.
Great. Thank you, Sharon. Good morning, guys. I'm really happy to see faces that have a passion for basketball and want to work towards their goal of becoming a successful student athlete, right? And as Sharon said, you have already taken the first step, showing up here on time for a time workshop, right? Kudos to you if you were able to do that all by yourself without, the support of a parent at home. And if you did have a parent help get you out of bed this morning, you know what? That's okay for now. You're going to work on getting you to be fully independent, because once you get to a prep school, there's no one looking over your shoulder except that little voice which comes from inside your head, right? All right, so let me tell you a little bit about myself. I've been a TDSB teacher, educator for almost 25 years now. For those of you who are good at math, you can do them. You can try to figure out how old I am if you want to. Let's just say I'm under the age of 100, right? I used to teach kindergarten. When I came back to work, I was on a medical leave, and this is the first time I get to see faces who are in high school, right? I'm not a stranger to the high school student. I did teach for 8 months phys ed at a high school here in the TDSB. After that, I spent about 12 years teaching grades 7 and 8. So like I said, I am used to your age, okay? Let me see, I've been a coach for all those years that I've also been a teacher. I'm an athlete. I played field hockey university. I still play football when I get the chance to. I'm a mom of 2, and maybe something I'm most proud of, I am a cancer survivor, right? And I say that because that changed my life significantly, right? My days used to be filled from 8 to 5 with work, and then I suddenly found myself at home trying to figure out what to do next, okay? And I did not just sit on the couch. I remained active, because truly that is the best way to keep yourself healthy, and not just physically, but also up here mentally. Okay, that's important. All right, so I'm going to share my screen, and I hope that you got the chance to look at the workbook that Coach Sharon sent out to you. And if you didn't print it out, that's okay. Hopefully you've got paper and pen or pencil in hand. Okay. All right, give me a moment here. I will pull up my screen, and there we go. Okay, hopefully you can see that. Let me just make sure I get my Zoom screen back. Okay, let me know if you don't see the information. All right, fellas?
Yeah, it's there, but you have it. Can you put in maybe presentation mode? Right,
oh, is it not?
Also, yeah, you can also see your speaker's notes.
Okay, I'm actually using a second monitor.
Okay.
So,
no big deal.
Okay. All right. Perfect. All right, so here's our time management workshop. Okay, and let me see. There we go. All right, so 4 things we're going to look at today: why it matters, the teenage brain, principles of time management, and something that we call the superstar bonus. All right. So what is time management? Well, let's put it to the dictionary. Time management is the process of organizing and planning how to divide your time between the activities that you need to do and what you want to do. All right. Good time management really enables you to work smarter and not harder. Okay, so that's you can get more done in less time, even when you feel that time might be tight and the pressure is high to achieve all those things you want to do. Okay. All right. Okay, so this is some information about Coach Mom. All right, and those of you who are at her workshop, I'm sure that she was able to share that with you. All right, she is highly respected, not only in the basketball world, but in the coaching realm as well. All right, so let's move on here. Okay, 30-second countdown. I'd like to go through this activity twice. Okay. For the first one, all right, I'm going to have you close your eyes and picture yourself in your favorite place, doing the things that you really love to do. All right. When I say go, I'm going to start a timer for 30 seconds. Okay. You're going to picture yourself wherever it is that you love being, doing what you love. And when you think that 30 seconds is over, I want you to open up your eyes and just raise your hand to the screen so that I know you think 30 seconds have passed. All right. So close your eyes now. Start to picture yourself in that favorite place doing what you love, and the timer will start now. Okay, stop. That was 30 seconds. All right. So how many of you had your eyes open when you heard that alarm go off, or when I said stop? I see some smiles. We're going to give you something here to help. Now I'm going to give you what I call a tool or a tip. Instead of just picturing yourself in your favorite place doing what you love, now I want you to try this activity, but counting. So 1 and 2 and 3. And let's see if you can actually get closer to that 30-second mark. All right? So I'm going to start my clock, and you're going to start counting. Ready, go. Okay, that's it. 30 seconds, guys. Now, quick show of hands. How many of you actually got close to that 30-second mark this time? Okay. Yeah, I see a couple of hands go up, and that's good. Actually putting together or putting into use some sort of tool will actually make your time management more successful. Okay, so that's kind of our goal for today, is to give you some tips, some sort of steps to follow to be successful in that. Okay. All right. Here's our next slide. So here we go. This is why it matters. All right. Stress and depression. All right. When you feel rushed, okay, you're probably going to find yourself feeling like, oh my gosh, I've got so much to do. You want to pull out your hair. And you may actually find yourself not being able to do those things that you enjoy doing, right? And that moves to the second point here, free, time for fun, right? we know that a successful person, not just a student athlete, but a successful person has a good balance between work and leisure, okay? And self-love, that's you taking care of yourself, all right? It can't always be 100% go, go, go. That is going to take a toll on your mind and your body, okay? So in your workbook, okay, if you sort of printed it out, there's a spot here to make a little note. I want you to think about if you had 4 extra hours in a week to do what you love, okay, what would you do? Okay. How would you spend those 4 extra hours? Okay. So go ahead and take a moment, write it down, because writing things down actually forces you to commit, and you can always come back and review it. All right. Okay. Great. Now, I'd like you to type into the chat, if you don't mind sharing, what is it that you'd like to do with your extra time? You know, this weekend's work showcase is not just a chance for you to show off your basketball skills, but you're going to be learning and connecting with people. And within the chat, you might actually find someone that shares an interest with you. Okay, someone you can connect with beyond this weekend, maybe. All right. So I'll give you a few moments to type in your interests. It'll help me get to know you a little bit better as well. Okay, so I'm just going to start with typing into the chat here. Okay, now this is something that I picked up. Jackson. I like that, Jackson. Sleeping for those 4 hours. Sleep is very important, right? And as time goes by, you're going to find yourself discovering just exactly how much sleep works best for you. Okay. Now, I picked up a hobby during my time off. Okay. Hi, Nate. Playing basketball and video games. Awesome. Okay, Lucas. Okay. Oh, Will. Okay. Sorry, Will. Okay. So here's what I do if I had some extra time. And okay. So there you go. I like that. And I'm going to call you Mr. Levine because I'm not sure what your first name is, but I do see maybe your mom's name on the screen. So Mr. Levine, if you don't mind, can you type in your first name so I can call you that? Devin. Hi, Devin. Awesome. Thank you. So not surprisingly, unsurprisingly, I see a lot of basketball. Okay. Yes, Noah, I agree, right? Hanging with friends, it's been tough. There's been a lot of, you know, what I call computer play dates. I have 2 kids who are 11 and 10, so I know the deal, right? Okay. Okay, thank you, Ryder. I see that. Excellent. All right. Well, let's see if we can find you those extra 4 hours in a week, guys. All right. Here's our next slide. Okay. All right. So when it comes to time management and just organization, you guys are at the age now where your brains are developing into what eventually will be the adult brain. But at this stage, those connections are still forming, and you're going to find that right now, most teenagers are at the point where they take more risks. They're trying things out, and their organizational skills start to take a little bit of a dip, okay? The part of the brain that actually is impulsive and is in charge of immediate reactions is called the amygdala. And with kids, that is probably the biggest part right now, right? They don't really think too much about the consequences. They just go for it. And you can see that with infants, right? They just react. You guys are now starting to build stronger connections with something called the frontal cortex of the brain. And that is in charge of reasoning, the ability to weigh the advantages and the disadvantages of certain actions. Okay. Of course, there are exceptions to the rules. The fact that you guys got here, on time, the fact that you guys are pursuing basketball at a high level and pursuing academics as well, right? That already shows that you are getting there, right? You are at the point where you're pretty good, and people are going to start noticing that. But just be aware that right now, some of you may still find that risk-taking is a little bit more up front than those organizational skills. And you know what? That's okay. You'll get there. We're going to try to get you. We're going to show you some of the sort of tips and steps you can use for planning those things out. Okay? All right. So let's go through it. Step 1, consider, prioritize, and commit. In your workbook, I'd like you to write down all of those things that you need to or feel that you need to do this week. Maybe you've got a pet that you need to take care of. Perhaps you are taking a summer course and you've got some work that you need to do. Maybe you've got siblings, younger siblings that you take care of. Okay, but go ahead and write down all those things, all those responsibilities that you have this week. All right. I mean, maybe you've got laundry, right? A lot of you put down playing basketball as something you want to do with those extra 4 hours, but what do you need to do to get ready for that? Okay. Maybe you've got some chores around the house. Perhaps you are in charge of actually preparing a weekly meal for your family. Yeah. Some of you might be taking driving lessons or already have your license by now. Okay. Okay. I mean, as for me, obviously my list of things to do is more of a parent than as an athlete right now. But each and every person is different. All right. Once you've written down those things that you need to do this week or in any week, let's go back and do the next step. Let's prioritize. Using the numbers 1 through 10 or 15 or even 5, depending on what you've written down. What is the most important thing that you must do this week? And give that the number 1. The most important thing. Okay. And you can go through the rest of the items you've written down and just put them in order of what's most important. 1 being the most important, 10 being, and I hate to use the phrase least important, but of that list, which is probably the thing that you can put at the bottom. Okay. Just curious, because usually the most important thing is the easiest thing to prioritize. Okay. How many of you made your number 1 something that is purely personal, something that doesn't affect anybody else but you? Okay. You can just, put your hand up if, I'm just curious, right? Okay. Okay. All right, and I see some of you still working away, and that's fine. All right. Now, it's not enough to just list those things that you have to do. It's not enough to just say, this is the most important, followed by this one, and so on, right down to the last item. But now you actually have to commit. Okay. And this is the step where I would like you to now, in your mind, put together a sentence or 2, a statement of what you are going to do to actually go through that list and finish them off this week. What are you going to do? Okay, so a commitment statement usually begins with I will, and then you're going to finish that off, right? So what will you do to make sure that those things are completed? Right? Obviously, there are things that you have to do. You wrote them down yourselves. You ranked them in order from 1 to 10 in terms of importance. But now, time to actually put it down on paper. What will you do to finish that list, to reach those weekly goals? Okay. Okay. If you don't want to use the words I will, how about I promise? Right? Because you can make a promise to yourself. Okay. Remember, this is about you. Right? Because if it's personal, you're actually going to find it close to your heart and you are going to do it. Right? Doing things for other people is important, but in the end, if it's important to you, that means you're going to get it done. Okay, let's move on. All right, so using a calendar, right? Okay, most schools hand out agendas or part of the student package, right? And inside the agendas, most of them have a monthly calendar. Most of them have a weekly and daily section, all right, for time management. Okay. I also know that some of you have phones, most of you have phones, if not all, and you probably use a calendar on that phone too. But I have a question for you. What are you going to do if your phone dies, your phone battery dies? What's your backup plan? Is it carrying a battery pack so you can plug your phone in? Okay, but let's face it, sometimes old school paper and pencil is a good thing to have, right, as a backup. All right, so take out your calendars if you've got them, okay, and let's just take a look. First things first, obviously Monday to Friday when school begins, there's no flexibility there. You know what time you have to be at school, you know what time it ends, okay? But let's take a look at something that is really important, homework. How much time do you guys need for homework? Think about that. How much time per day? How much time per week? Okay. Right, if you've got your agenda or just a piece of paper, write down how many hours that is. Okay. Okay. Now, in your planner, add those 10 things that we listed earlier. Where do they fit in your week? Where do they fit in your day? Okay. All right. All right. Oh, I see here. Happy birthday, Jackson. So Jackson, I guess part of your week is going to be some birthday celebrations. Okay. All right, guys. So I know some of you are still working away at it, and you know, I don't want to push you in terms of time, but I do want to move on here. So let's see. After you've put in those 10 things and you put in your homework, how many of you still find time on a daily basis to do something you enjoy? Right? For most of you, according to our chat room, it was basketball. Just give me a show of hands. How many of you have some extra time daily to throw in that thing? Yes, I see Devin and Lucas. Awesome. Okay, and I see, yes, awesome. All right, so put your hands down. One more show of hands. How many of you want more time to do the basketball or to do those things that you enjoy? Yeah, I see it for sure. Well, I think I can say you will definitely have lots of basketball this weekend, which I'm sure some of you really missed considering our COVID past, year and a half. All right, so let's move on then to the next item. All right, let's move to the next. All right, now let's go to the stay focused point. All right. How many of you find yourselves easily distracted when in homework? All right. What can we do to take away those distractions? Okay. What can we do? All right. I know I put on a set of headphones to block out the noise when I've got something really important to do. Okay. Today, for example, knowing that I was going to be in front of the camera and with you guys, I actually asked my family to leave the house. So I'm here all alone. It might seem a little cutthroat to say, I need the house to myself, guys, but I knew this was important. So I needed them out. That's how I stayed focused. How about you guys? Okay. In the chat room, can you put a tip that you want to share with everybody? What do you do to help reduce those distractions when you've got homework or other things that must be done? All right. What do you do? All right. So I'm going to do this. Okay. Put yourself in a quiet environment. That's really good. Okay. Okay, here's something that I do. Yeah, same as Lucas. I find that really helps. Okay, here's something that some of my students have said they do. Well, actually, their parents. Okay. Right. I've had students tell me that they've taken the batteries out of their, game controllers, so that even though they might be tempted to go and pick that up, it doesn't work, right? Okay. So we know that distractions can really block our success. There's another thing that can really, really negatively affect how successful we could be, and that's something called procrastination. What is procrastination? Okay, what's procrastination? Okay. Procrastination is pretty well putting off or delaying something that has to be done, putting it off to the last minute, or even in some cases to the last second, right? You know you've got to leave the house by 8:30, and maybe you're waiting until 8:29 before you go and pack your backpack for school. I don't know, right? But procrastination adds to your stress level, guys. That's why time management is important. If you can plan out what you have to do, if you can do things ahead of time, not leave it to the last second, you're going to find yourselves less stressed. Okay, that's important. Excuse me. All right, let me just get right. I'll tell you a personal story. I used to leave all my assignments till the very end because I felt I worked well under pressure. Right? Some of you like that game time when it comes down to the last 20 seconds of the game and you like the pressure of having to make that basket. Some of you think you can actually put that into play with your schoolwork. All right. But that's not the best way to do things when it comes to school or even jobs. All right. All right. So let's put together, well, let's go on to the next slide, staying focused. Okay. Here are those 4 things that Coach Mon says are the superstar bonus: water, nutrition, sleep, and support. Okay. Water. How many of you have water right by your side at this moment? No? Okay. Water is important, guys. Your body's made up of mostly water, okay? There have been studies that have found that, let's see, it's the University of East London. They did a study, and they found that students who had at least 300 milliliters, so that's not even half a liter of water, they were able to boost their attention in class by almost 25%. Okay? Any edge that you can get at school in life is going to help you out. Okay? One personal tip, if you do happen to have a water bottle by your computer, I'm going to suggest that you put it into a spill-proof container, right? So that if it's knocked over by accident, you're not getting it all over your schoolwork or your electronics, right? But we want to make sure you have at least, and they say 8 glasses of water, I want to say about 2 liters of water a day, right? You can find lots of apps on your App Store or your Google Play Store to help remind you about drinking water. Okay. Everyone's got personal preference. I personally don't use it, but I take a look at my water bottle during the day and I make sure that I end up filling it at lunch hour. And that's a good sort of sign to me that I'm getting enough water. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. Now, I want to say, if you find yourself thirsty, it's already a little too late. You want to make sure you're sipping away all day long. Okay. Some people think cold water is better than warm water. Really, in the end, any way that's going to get you drinking the water on a regular basis, cold, hot, add some fruits. You've got lots of different things you can add to it, like Neo, and you can add lots of flavors. So whatever's going to get you going. Hey, Devin, I see you. All right. So water, guys. When you go to your showcase today and the facilities, please make sure you bring a big water bottle with you. All right. Obviously, for COVID times, you don't want to be sharing it, or you want to have it handy, okay? All right. Nutrition. High protein foods. That's going to help you out with your training. All right. We want to make sure that you have things like cheese, nuts. Those are all good. What other things can you do? I know that some people find protein bars when they're out at a competition easy to pack and easy to throw into their backpack and eat when you need to, but there's nothing that can beat fresh foods. All right, guys? So if you can, make sure you get the high protein diet in there. I'm not saying stay away from the carbohydrates completely, right? But when you hear the word carbohydrate, you want to connect that with the word sugar, and too much sugar, not a good thing for you, okay? Sleep. How many hours of sleep do you, how many hours of sleep do you need in a day? That is really a personal thing. I know that for myself, I can get by with about, 6 to 8 hours. You are all growing young men. You probably need more hours than that. However, I do know everyone is different. Okay. Sleep is when your body recovers from the daily stresses of your lives, both physical and mental. All right. So get to bed early, especially if you know you have to wake up early. Some studies have shown that getting up at the same time every day is actually more beneficial than going to bed at the same time every day. But again, you are all individuals. You're going to find what works best for yourselves. But having no sleep at all is definitely not ideal. All right? Support. Each of you right now has a support system. Either your parents at home, your coaches, your teachers, your friends. Having a good support system in place will help you. All right? Don't be afraid to reach out for help. All right? Reaching out for help means that you are self-aware and that you know what you need to take the next step. Okay? All right. All right. Let's make it digital. Okay. I saw some of you already hold up your phones. All right. Take those 10 things that you prioritize earlier and put them into your phone calendar, right? You guys know, for example, today, you've probably already put in the showcase, which starts at 2, but you've also been given some instructions as to what time to get there, right? Make sure that's in the calendar. Don't forget to build in travel time, right? If you know it's going to take you 30 minutes to get down there, add a little reminder so an alarm goes off on your phone that you've got to leave home. Make sure you get there on time. You don't want to be late. You are always going to be, I don't want to say judged, but you will always make an impression on people when you are in front of them. Make sure that it is the impression that you want them to receive, right? You are in charge of yourselves here. All right, so go ahead, put those into your calendar. And for the last 3 minutes, okay, we're open to questions or comments. I know that I didn't go through the whole workbook and have you write things down. You can do that on your own when you've got the time. Okay, but we do have a couple of minutes open for questions. I'm not sure if Coach Mom is available right now, but I'm happy to answer questions that you might have about time management or anything in general, really. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. Thank you very much for showing up this morning. Right. On your screens now, you've got the information for Coach Mom. Okay. I've known her for about 15 years now. I was really honored that she asked if I would consider helping her out this weekend with this workshop. Hopefully you got a few tips that you can put into play when school starts, if it hasn't started. And I know some of you are already in the classrooms. Bill Crothers, I believe, started this week or last. Okay, so there it is. Make sure you follow Coach Mom social media. And thank you, guys. All right, I'm going to wave goodbye. And if you do have any questions, please reach out to Coach Mom or myself. She's got my information. I am more than happy to email you back. I enjoy working with you guys and with the kids. All right, Sharon.
Does anybody have any questions at all for later on for showcase for those that are participating today and tomorrow? Good, I like it. No questions. That means we've communicated. That's awesome. Get your screening done, please, and your waiver as well. And we'll see you guys soon. Time to rock, fellas. All right, take care.
Good luck, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys. Thank you.